Hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be talking about why Alpine has been struggling in the last, ever since they've started, really, when they took over from Renault, and how it's just been going downhill from there. Let's get started. So Flavio Briatore has been a team principal in the past. He was the man behind Fernando Alonso winning his 2 championships when he was with Renault, and he has been quite a controversial figure due to the Crashgate incident in the late 2000s when Nelson Piquet Jr. was asked to purposely crash in order to help his teammate Fernando Alonso win the race and help him win the championship. When it was the authorities, when the FIA found out that this was in fact a stitch-up, they were looked at, and Fernando Alonso did not get the win that year. I believe it was 2007. He won in 2005 and 2006. And when this happened, Flavio Briatore was let go of, not only from the team, but he also received a ban for life to never come back and work in Formula 1 again until he came back in 2024, because between the time of Crashgate and 2024, he appealed the decision and ended up being able to return whenever he wanted, if he ever wanted, and he did, to the Formula 1 team, and he decided that he's going to be the best person to help out the team after a very long slump where they haven't really been successful since they first had Fernando Alonso there, and Fernando Alonso, as we know, is still in Aston Martin, thriving, but yeah, Flavio has returned. He's been at Alpine as a non-executive role. So he thinks of himself as a team principal, but he's not allowed to be team principal because he's sort of an external hire. And as some may know, Alpine, in the time that they became a team when they took over from Renault, they have gone through so many team principals, more than anybody has gone through a pair of socks. So he is technically, apart from Pierre, the only sense of stability they have at the moment. But let's get on to what the current situation looks like, shall we? But before we get on to the current situation, let's talk about the relatively recent current situation, aka 2024, where we saw Esteban Ocon not being able to take part in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and that was because he was still under contract for Alpine, and Alpine did not like the idea of him going to Haas, which is his now current team, to do testing for the car before the start of the next year, which is the current year right now. They did not like the idea, but there were just squabbles going on between the two. This is what is being reported as of that time, and they decided that if he really wants to do the Haas testing after the last Grand Prix, then he has to forfeit his seat in Alpine and let Jack Doohan hop into his seat in the Alpine for the last race. And that is when, from that moment, we had Jack Doohan up until the Miami Grand Prix. And now let's talk about 2025 as it is so far. We started off this year with a lineup of Pierre Gasly and Jack Doohan. This was the case until Miami, when Jack Doohan was let go of and given the role of reserve driver again. And that was when Franco Colapinto hopped in his seat in Imola and took over from there, and there are different reports whether or not Franco Colapinto is only contracted to do 5 races or if he's going to be there until the end of the year. With Alpine, you never know what will be the case, but Right now he is not doing as well as people expected. Alpine have not a very good car this year at all. Pierre is really doing his best in that car, and the second seat is almost just as haunted and cursed as the Red Bull second seat. And what happens with this is that, well, Flavio Briatore, when he allowed Franco Colapinto to hop into the seat, he said that he just expects 3 things from him. He wants him to be fast, he wants him to score points, and he doesn't want him to crash. Unfortunately, he hasn't been very fast, he hasn't scored any points yet, but he's only done 3 races so far in an Alpine, and he has crashed in his very first race, and also his car failed, and he qualified badly for the Barcelona Grand Prix. During the qualifying, his car just stopped working and he couldn't drive out of the pit lane, which frustrated a lot of the drivers behind him. So what it looks like is it's 50-50 whether he's going to in fact be there for 5 races or not, but Flavio Briatore also said that he never said anything about 5 races, but when it was announced that Franco Colapinto was taken over from Jack Doohan, they released a press release where it said that he will only be there for 5 races, and then they'll review when we go into Silverstone whether or not they should keep him on as the second driver or not. Alpine has a history, a very short history, but it has a history of not only letting team principals go, but also just letting potential go. So they disappointed Alonso with the car, and so he left. They had Oscar Piastri as an Alpine reserve, but never really gave him the chance to flourish, and so he went to McLaren. McLaren bought him out of the contract they had with Alpine, and as a result he is now thriving more than anyone because he's leading the championship in a constructors winning car. And now, well, Ocon as well, he had some great times with the team, winning with Pierre. He got 2nd place, and Pierre got 3rd place in Brazil last year. He also won the Hungary Grand Prix a couple of years ago, so it hasn't all been that bad, but it's a cutthroat sport, and if you're in an even more cutthroat team, don't expect to come back with an air-sealed neck. So it is a team that has been going through the motions more than others. The only comparable one would really be Red Bull, which are having similar situations where they have one good driver and one revolving seat. So that's what it currently looks like for Alpine. So now it's all to play for Alpine. We'll see when they officially cut ties with Renault and they change to be a Mercedes powered engine team rather than a Renault engine team. But that is it for Alpine in terms of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you on Saturday. Please don't forget to check out our Be The Change Media Network website, bethechangemedianetwork.com. Also listen to the other fabulous podcasts that we have on the network. And unfortunately there's no episode on Monday because there is no race, but next Saturday I'll be back with another episode, and then another Monday episode after that, because we'll be in Canada for the Canadian race. I won't be there, I wish I was there, but I'll be letting you know how the race has gone. Bye guys.